Hi, and welcome back to LogRhythm Security Spotlight. This series is designed to provide quick visibility and understanding into the ways you can leverage the LogRhythm platform against a variety of threats. Today's Spotlight is a quick overview on how to apply effective control on administrators changing their own group memberships. Today, the complexity of business infrastructure opens and exposes all companies to many security issues. As security teams, we are tasked to protect the corporate environment with a clear primary objective. Business services must be both enabled and protected, reducing the risk of compromise and avoiding disruption to standard operations. Even in a security landscape that is obsessed with the concept of zero trust, a topic that would take much more than 3 minutes to unpack, a necessary evil to achieve our mission is granting admin credentials and authority to appropriate users, who the business must trust to act with professionalism and competence when defining rules, policies and configuration for the IT environment. But in this scenario, who is going to control the controller? Who is going to verify the administrator's activities, and how can we identify voluntary or involuntary mistakes to avoid any potential changes or escalations of privilege? Separation of duties dictates that individuals should not grant themselves additional privileges, but if the individual already has elevated privileges, how do we manage compliance with that policy? Without specific controls, administrators pose a significant risk to your business, with the ability to access and then exfiltrate data from across the network. At the end of the day, the fundamental component of any successful attack is access, and there is no greater level of access or control than an administration account. Escalation of privilege is a persistent problem, not related to any one single attacker or malware, and should be treated as a fundamental tenet of security visibility. Since the implementation of domain access in global administrators, attackers have been leveraging these kind of accounts to escalate their access and enable a deeper and more pervasive penetration of a victim's environment. It should be noted that just monitoring for this kind of activity is only half the battle. Organisations need to identify and educate users on best practice as dictated by the business, rather than allowing users to continue on existing, potentially malicious habits. Two challenges were thrown at our teams for this. The first, how can we detect instances where an administrator changes the group membership of the admin account they're logged in with? For this, we use a simple statistical rule block that compares the origin user and the impacted user of all group additions, alerting us when they match. The second, rather more complex request was to identify when an administrator uses their primary account to add group memberships to their secondary, less privileged account. This workflow leverages behavioural whitelisting to identify the secondary accounts of administrators, alerting when an account that isn't their own is changed. This then allows us to create a feedback rule that checks every group membership change against the whitelist alarm, alerting only in instances where the change must be to the administrator's secondary account. If you want more information about how to enable this rule within your LogRhythm deployment, we'd strongly recommend you reach out to your line sales engineer or co-pilot, and they'll be happy to assist you. Finally, we've also provided links to useful blogs and other videos that outline various things discussed in this video in more detail, should you want to continue your reading. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Please check back next week, same time, for another of LogRhythm's Security Spotlights.